I do apologize. I am a little late on this review, as well as the Pokemon reviews, especially late on the Pokemon reviews, because I know in Pokemon Sun and Moon there's been 2 episodes that have passed, and I haven't reviewed either of them, and I will be making a big video explaining why that was the case. But long story short, let's just go ahead and focus on this episode. So hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome back to Dragon Ball Super Reviews, and today we'll be doing the review of episode 97, Survive, the Tournament of Power Begins at Last. So the episode, basically, and I'm just going to sum this up real fast because, like I said, I'm very late. Episode is basically the start of the tournament. All the fighters go in, and they end up fighting off a lot. And obviously, the start of the tournament takes a really long time to actually start up, just for suspense purposes. Like, there's no really other way around it except to say it's suspense purposes. A lot of these characters just sort of stare at each other, stare up at Omni King. Omni King stares at them. Goku stares at Jiren. Jiren stares at Goku. Vegeta stares at a couple of enemies. Frieza stares. Frost stares. Caulifla and Kale stare. Gohan stares. Yeah, literally, it's just a bunch of glares at each other. And Gohan takes a little minute to analyze some of the things, things like that. He wants everybody to stick to the plan. The tournament then finally starts, and everybody's just sort of fighting. There's a lot of side commentary that happens during this, too, and I guess it's because, each team belongs to a specific Kai, God of Destruction, Angel, and things like that. So we got to get their 2 cents literally when everything happens. And I think for the main universes, like Universe 7, 6, 11, and maybe 4, this should be a thing. But it shouldn't be a thing for every universe. Like, every universe shouldn't be getting side commentary on what's going on just based off of that. Oh, and yeah, or maybe Universe 10. But, like, it shouldn't be every universe that gets side commentary. Like, we sort of got it at this point. There's going to be a lot of fighters here, and they're all going down very slowly. Like, I'm sorry. I know the arena is very big and all, but I still refuse to believe that each Omni King, both of the Omni Kings, and Daishinkan are going to be able to use that tap temp tablet on each fighter that goes out at once. Like, it's going to be, first of all, there's a lot of fights happening at once. So I feel like there should be a bunch of just tap, 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 fighters out, fighters out, fighters out, fighters out. It's all happening in 2 hours, too. 80 fighters, 2 hours. There should just be a shit ton of, things happening at once right now, and it doesn't really feel like it. I mean, yeah, there's fights here and there happening. Obviously, I know there's one where Hit and this guy from Universe, and the Wolf from Universe 9, both tag team this robot, because this robot is doing the spinning thing that's knocking all the fighters around. But I feel like there should be a lot more going on. Like, there should be 2, at least 3 or 4 enemies getting knocked out at the exact same time. I refuse to believe that fights are just going on, and they'll probably speed up as time goes out. And they're doing this probably just, for time purposes. They don't want the tournament to be over in an instant. So I get why they're doing it for that reason. I don't know. I feel like there should be a balance between commentary and fighting. Like, if they're going to do a heavy commentary, I think heavy commentary should happen towards the middle of this tournament. Just, if you're really going to push for, hey, let's make this tournament feel longer than it actually is, so maybe the manga or something can catch up, then develop an episode towards commentaries. Don't develop don't have it happen in the middle of, there should be just fights happening. Like, fights should be happening here, and something highlight happens with Universe 7. Like, I know Android 18 is actually fighting one of the Pride Troopers, a female Pride Trooper, and it's a pretty cool looking fight. But it's briefly grazed over. It's literally her and the other one just sort of, I call it stock Dragon Ball Z fighting, when it's just a bunch of punches and kicks happening really fast, but not much else. Yeah, that's happening, but there's not much happening outside of that. Like I said, this is going to be a lot. It's going to be really messy to sort of review, commentate, or keep an eye on, just because there's just so many fights happening at once. which isn't necessarily a bad thing if it was used correctly. Like, personally, I did predict that this would be a thing, like the last one standing wins type of deal, but I thought in my brain, before the saga even came out, or when it was just promoted, in my mind, I was thinking there was a whole planet, and the time limit would be a lot larger, and they could use the planet to their advantage, like there'd be some fighters hiding in like this forest area, some fighters fighting in like this mountain area, some fighters fighting near the sea, some fighters like, just sort of using the environment to not be detected, things like that. I didn't think it'd just be this big giant spinning top looking ass arena, and last one standing in about 2 hours wins out of 80 people. It's a lot of people and a lot of things happening all in one clumped up area, which to me isn't the worst setting for a tournament. It's just, it's kind of weird for the Omni King to keep track of all these fights at once. It's just sort of weird to me. Like, right now, it should just be a bunch of explosions happening at once. I really don't see how they're able to keep track of everything that's going on, but regardless. One of the main highlights, Goku tries to go in to fight Toppo and or Jiren, but ends up getting interrupted each time. One time he gets interrupted by, like, this guy who tries to suicide him out, and he acts weirdly gay about it, too, but I mean, not saying if you're homosexual, then you're not weird, but this guy was just weird. He was creepy, like, any standard. So, Goku burst his way out of it. He used Super Saiyan Blue, which was kind of dumb, because Super Saiyan Blue is supposed to be like a light bulb, where being in the transformation itself doesn't waste so much energy. It's turning the transformation on and then off and then on again that waste most of the energy. We learned this not just in the manga, but in the series itself. It's just like, it's supposed to be like a energy preserver, and Goku's just using it so he won't fall off the cliff. Like, come on, I think Super Saiyan would have sufficed. Hell, no, even you just powering up normal state would have sufficed. But anyway, Goku has a lot of obstacles in his way, and Gohan tries to get everybody to fight together, but that's not working. The only ones that actually listen are Master Roshi, Krillin, Tien, Piccolo, and I think, so that's it. Everybody else just sort of is doing their own thing. And Frieza's fighting too. So then after that, the episode basically ends with Goku having to take on a lot more fighters before having to fight Jiren or Toppo, and the episode ends there. I do like the fact that they did at least have the decency to make some moments happen within the tournament now. Like there are some good fights you can pick out of there. There's some, even within the characters that aren't supposed to be necessarily big. Obviously characters that aren't super huge. Like, I know the big pink wrestler guy was able to withstand an attack that should have knocked him out of the ring, but he didn't. So it's cool to have highlight moments like that for lesser characters. But outside of that, that's all I can really pull in terms of good moments. I mean, there's a lot of fights happening and we just started, but there you go. All of these fights are happening at once, and I'm not trying to say, all of these fights are distracting from main fights. But one of the things you do have to take into account for is, like I said before, is the commentary. All of these fights happening at once, you're cutting from one fight to another fight, to another fight, to another fight, to another fight. Plus you got commentary on top of all of that. Plus you got the Omni Kings. Plus you got Daishinkan. It's a little overwhelming. To be honest, like I said, I believe that the way this tournament should be set up is that we cut from main fights, and then as transitional pieces, we cut to lesser fights of just a couple of punches and kicks of weaker fighters that we don't care about, just to show the tournament's still active. And then we use that to transition into a main fight. Another main fight. For example, if Vegeta's fighting off against Riberon, the fat Sailor Scout chick, and they're fighting, and then a big explosion happens. After that, Vegeta just sort of backs off, camera zooms into him. Then we cut to a lesser fight of two fighters doing a thing. They knock out a fighter gets knocked out, and then we zoom into the void where they fall down, and that void becomes the pupil of another fighter that's fighting in a main fight. Commentary should be completely absent, at least until, some episode from now where at that point we could just show a bunch of lesser fights, some highlights from some main fights that are happening, make those last longer in screen time, and then commentary from each of the Kais and Gods of Destruction. That way we can learn more about their characters and how they view the tournament, as well as Omni King and Daishinkan. Then the next episode we cut back to main fights. That's how my brain visualizes how this should be done. I don't know how Super's gonna do it though. So it's just, I don't know, the way they're doing it, the template doesn't match for what the tournament is bringing. The tournament is bringing a lot, and the template isn't compensating for it. And that's what the main issue is for me. Overall, episode did basically a job. It at least got to the tournament and got the fighters, fighting. But I'm not getting much out of any of the main characters, only because, and that's not to rush into things, because like I said, the tournament did just start. But if you want to go ahead and develop these other characters that aren't from Universe 7, no better time to do it but then now. I mean, to waste time with how old Kai feels about Goku going full power for one fight. I don't care. Like, I'm not saying I don't care about old Kai, I just don't care about his commentary right now. Get that out of here. Let's focus on the main characters for a little bit. But with that said, I'll see you all next time in episode 98, which is titled, Uncertainty, a Universal Despairs. See you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3, out.